Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Sunday Fun Day with the Crescent Lake Club. We've got a bunch of guests today, and I'm super excited because we're talking about one of our favorite topics. But first, I'll introduce the group that's here with me today. The names have changed, but the people stay the same. Right next to me is Tweedle One. Y'all know her from previous streams. This is Angela. She is the best Run Disney spectator 1. Right next to her is Teets. You may know him from Instagram as Ryan Runs Disney. He's also a frequent Disney runner. Right below him is Whitty. Whitty is another Disney runner, among other races, as you can see by the many blings hanging up behind her. She's also a super Peloton fan. So if you guys are on Peloton, she's Mickey's B-Day bud on Peloton, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that, and then the fun thing is Whitty has also done 2 world majors. So we're going to talk about those a little bit later. And then new to the stream for the first time is Tweedle2, also known as Leslie. And Leslie's another great Run Disney spectator. So everyone say hey to Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Hey, Leslie. So welcome to everybody. Happy New Year. We made it to 2021. Some point during the summer, right? Some point during the summer, maybe during the fall. Didn't think we were going to get there, but here we are. Still no races to talk about. Still no true plans to have as far as racing goes, but things are looking up. How was everyone's New Year?
Quiet.
Well, I know Leslie was asleep by like 8 p.m. So
She sure was. Someone roasted it. You roasted a turkey and ate turkey at what? 4 in the afternoon?
Yes.
Who does that other than the Golden Girls?
I mean, everybody's got squad goals. Those are just some of them.
That's why she was asleep by 8 o'clock, because she was tryptophan the fuck out.
That's right.
It's too much.
It was like the best we had in months.
My New Year's was great. You guys saw me wrapped up in blankets at 10 o'clock, and then I went and hung out with some friends and rang in the New Year, and then got home and hung out with my wiener all day. So it was awesome.
And by wiener, she means Nathan, the wiener dog, not like a literal wiener. We don't do that.
Thank you for clarifying.
This is a PG stream. We try to keep it.
Oh, yeah. This Disney stream, real PC, real clean. Bring your kids.
That was New Year's Eve. The kids were already in bed. Leslie was already asleep.
All right. So McWhitty and I went and did a 5-course dinner at our favorite restaurant here in Oxford, Snack Bar, complete with wine pairings. It was amazing. They're doing super great with like social distancing and like COVID. So it's like one of the only places we'll go in Oxford right now.
Yeah, I went to. Oh, I bet I can call it up. I saw it. Snack Bar is also my favorite restaurant to go to when I visit Whitty in Oxford, and it was like the first restaurant I ever went and sat inside at once the pandemic started when we went to Oxford in June, and that's kind of like my high water mark for where I go to dine in.
COVID
standards. I saw there was like course 2 or 3 was Royal Red Shrimp.
Oh, it was Royal Red Shrimp Bisque. Oh my God.
Ooh.
So yeah, Snack Bar. Chef Vish won the James Beard Award for Best Chef in the South 2 years ago. They didn't do James Beard Award regional awards last year because of COVID. So I think 2019, because Nina Compton won in 2018. She's my favorite chef here. But if you're ever in Oxford, go to Snack Bar or Big Bad Breakfast, which is right next door, and they're both fantastic. Cocktail program out of this world. Teets, what did you do for New Year's?
Well, I made some ribs and streamed with you guys for a bit, and that was about it. It was a pretty quiet night. Not too much else happened.
You made some ribs. Did they look like John Cornyn's ribs?
I don't know. My mom got them for me. I made them. That's just how it went.
So you didn't let the Texans see your barbecue?
No.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah, tell us about your ribs. How did you make your ribs?
Well, I don't know. I put them in the oven, and
Wrong.
well, I don't own a smoker, so it's also
Well, then you don't get
January,
ribs.
but
And that's a food group you can't eat if you don't have a smoker.
yeah.
So basically, you made meatloaf on bones.
meatloaf on bones is a
Were they beef ribs?
yeah,
They were beef ribs?
I think so. I don't know. I just eat them.
Witty. Did you
Was
know
it
Ryan
big bones
thinks
or
that
little
ribs
bones?
are beef ribs in the oven? He calls those ribs.
It was pork.
Ew. Ribs don't go in the oven. I don't care what kind they are.
That,
Rib
that
can,
just,
ribs
meatloaf
can
on
go in the
bones.
oven, but you've got to do it super specific. And I'm pretty sure the Teats household did not do them in that way.
Yeah, it's like you
I'm trying to be as nice as I possibly can here on this one, Teetsy.
What kind of barbecue sauce did you have, Ryan?
The homemade barbecue sauce from the butcher store that my mom got the ribs.
You
Okay.
bought really good butcher ribs and you put them in. Okay. We'll talk about
So
that later.
TT doesn't have a smoker, so I guess we know what we're getting him for his birthday, and it's probably going to go the way of the gift card for the suit that I gave him like 2
I did
years
get the
ago.
suit though.
2
I got
years
it, though.
later, 2 years later, the suit was supposed to be for like career fairs and job interviews. Have we done any of that?
No.
He's taking a career class, or at least he signed up for it.
Which, yeah, so that's going to be the race is who puts together a resume first, me or Teets. And until like
So we could
class,
get Teets a smoker for graduation. I'd go in on a smoker for kid.
For Tiny Teetsy.
for Tiny Teetsy.
Yeah.
Is that what you want for? Well, he also told us he wanted a lot of the just Mickey graduation merchandise.
At least the
We gotta-
ear hat.
We got
thing.
those mortarboard with ears on them.
I have those from when I graduated high school.
Oh, well.
Oh, then you can just rewear those. We don't need to add. Do they even have a year on them?
They do have a year on them.
Just put some masking tape
Put some tape. Put some tape on them. Actually, just wear them backwards.
Yeah.
Frankly, turn them around. That saves us the $30. That could go towards your smoker that we're
Exactly.
going to buy you. So you can make Mama Teets more food that she's going to hate.
Poor Lynn.
We like Lynn.
We do like Lynn.
Or yeah, no, we love her. I mean, we love her.
I'm gonna say
Especially
if we were, gosh, we need to for next episode. We need to do a power ranking of our favorite Teetses.
Oh.
I haven't met all of them though. I mean, theoretically, I know that I like everyone but Ryan better, but I would probably need to meet everybody.
Yeah, I haven't had any interaction with Jordan yet. So.
Yeah.
She was in the chat last week.
Or Papa Teets.
Yeah.
None of us have had interaction with Papa Teets. Whitty and I have had interaction with Lynn and Dorothy and Sid.
Yep.
I've had interaction with Jordan. I'm just outstanding on Henry, but he still gets a vote over Ryan in most cases.
Henry bowls those 300s.
Yeah, he sure does. Henry going to be in the Bowling Hall of Fame, but not the one in Arlington. So I have in my notes, we wanted to do some quick catch up. I know we talked about this on our surprise drunken New Year's Eve game stream, but I want to go back to it. So as you saw in last week's chat, I sent everybody a little Jesus' birthday box, a Christmas box of a bunch of fun little Disney sussies that I found and I thought they would enjoy. And so probably like the biggest beating of Ryan's life is I give him everything Baby Yoda I encounter. Quite literally everything. Like when we were together in November, I gave him a little neon light that could go on his desk or his nightstand, or he could sleep with it at night. And it was just like little baby Yoda or Go-Gurt or whatever his name is. He was not appreciative of that. So to double down on that one, I got Ryan a
Chia pet.
Chia.
Oh, Sydney weighs in the chat that she better be everyone's fave. Sid, don't worry.
We love you, Sid.
Oh
We
man.
love you, Sid.
Where is she?
So,
I feel like
Yeah, where's the chia?
so here's the story that Tsitsi opens his Christmas box and pulls out the Baby Yoda Chia Pet. And what does Mama Teets say?
She said, well, she shook her head first, and then she said, I just threw away our old ones, and that when Keely comes to Wisconsin in May, that she is going to send the Chia Pet back with Keely.
So, you know, at first my feelings were hurt, but then I started unpacking everything he said, and I was like, how many Chia Pets are we talking about, and how long have we had these Chia Pets for? And the answer is
Just 2, and they were about 10 years old. They're Madagascar-themed Chia Pets.
like, were they still growing stuff, or were they just?
No,
the
they were just
terracotta
in the
thing?
box. They're just they were just.
You never even opened them.
Wait, they were still in the
they
box.
were open. No, they were in the box. They were used once, probably 10 years ago when we first got them, and then they sat ever since.
So you kept them. You kept the terracotta. You didn't like try and paint it or do anything with it. You just kept a dead Chia Pet.
Yep.
Bald pet.
Chia pet carcass.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of sociopathic, but you know, it's Wisconsin. Leslie, what did you do on New Year's Day? Because you went to bed at 8 because you had turkey at 4.
Yes.
Was that the day she sent us a text message at like 4:30 a.m.?
No. Why would I ever? Well, no.
No, that was Angela at 4:59, and I circled that time.
Oh,
So
that's
you guys-
because I figured out about unlimited park hopping. I didn't click the night before when we were talking about it.
Yeah. So no, like I've said before, I now have photographic proof that this one waits until she wakes up at 4:30, but 5 a.m. It's time, kids. Everyone needs to know what she's thinking and doing in the morning. And now I have text proof of it. That 4:59, someone sent a text message to the group of us.
We should probably put her in charge. Well, no, she's got that Android phone.
She's got that jitterbug. She's got a jitterbug. I think she has to plug a cord into the wall to get some service, because we also can't, if she's doing something on the phone, we can't text her, because then we just can't accept the text.
Yeah, because Google is like, hey, you Mac kids, shut the fuck up. We're trying to do stuff over here.
Oh, congratulations, James. That's a fun New Year's Eve memory. So, yeah, so that was our New Year's. I streamed with these guys. Bella's got a story to tell. Yeah, little dog is out the door just scratching. I'm pretending like I can't hear her. So I streamed games and fireworks with these guys, and then I watched the New Year's thing here in New Orleans and saw my mayor dancing on TV with no mask on, which was super fun for me.
Most importantly, you got to hang out with Mr. Worldwide on New Year's
I did
Eve.
get to spend my evening with Pitbull. Who knew? Who knew he was a New Orleanian? Who also knew he'd be available to jump on and stream? Who knew he's actually Mexican and not Puerto Rican? I learned a lot of things about Pitbull that night. But yeah, it was a fun time. Watched my neighbors set off fireworks in the street. Come to find out the next day, I saw a drone video from across the river, and it looked like everyone in the city was setting off fireworks. So that was kind of cool. Didn't really do anything on New Year's. Got some hot toddies and hung out. And then now it's 2021. just a quick around the horn, big plans, big resolutions. What are you going to do in 2021 and stick with it? Angela.
I'm going to pass to Ryan. I think Ryan's a little more inspired. Circle back to me.
Okay.
Well, first off, I want to run a actual live in-person race this year at some point. I don't know when that will be, but I hope it happens. And I want to actually read some books this year.
Nice.
Read some books for the first time, or
I
increase
don't
your
really read, so I'm gonna.
But you can read, right?
I can read.
So do you have a plan for what you want to read, like a certain genre, or you're going to start with classics?
No, I think I'm going to start with some Star Wars books.
All right, Woody, what are your 2021 New Year's resolutions?
So I think like I always try to do something fun and then something like fitness. So fitness wise, I want to incorporate more yoga into my fitness routine. Currently there is none. So that's a real easy, just got to maybe do it at least twice this year and I'll be good. And then I don't know. I haven't figured out my fun one yet. At this point, it's like, let's just make it through the year without getting COVID.
That's a big one. James in the chat says his resolution is to watch you guys every Sunday and never miss an episode. Thanks, James. I'm glad we keep you entertained.
That's pretty nice. It also seems like he had a really good New Year's Eve.
I know.
He did. That's why I gave him congratulations for that fun, exciting New Year's memory.
It's going to be a big 2021 for him.
Yeah.
I kissed no one on New Year's. I'm already behind the gun.
You kissed your wiener.
I kissed my wiener. I did do that.
Hi, Sid.
She just ran away.
Right, Leslie, what about you? What is your New Year's resolutions plans for 2020?
Survival.
Like, are there zombies outside?
Pretty much. I'm trying to live in a bubble until I get on an airplane to come to Florida to meet all of you, our happiest place on earth. So just trying to survive until I qualify for the shot.
I think that's what we're all.
Short-term goals right now.
So Angela, back to you.
Yeah, so kind of in like not yoga, 'cause I did that. You know what? I really do miss hot yoga. I started hot yoga at the end of 2019, and I was loving it, and then the world fell apart. But I am working on meditation in the mornings because that seems to help sometimes. I'm going to try and reduce my road rage in 2021. And why? I can do that. I could totally do that. I just need everybody else to get together with the program and learn how to drive, and it'll be fine. And that's it. I would like to go to Disney at least 2 more times other than January. That's it. Those are my goals.
2 more times other than January.
Mm-hmm.
Only
and a cruise would count, like 2 more Disney trips other than January. Also, I really want to go to Dollywood. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, Angela wanted to bring this up 2 weeks ago that she wanted to go to Dollywood.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Hey, Leslie, turn your volume down just like 2 clicks.
better.
Perfect. Thank you. So Dollywood is on the list. I mean, okay, would you substitute a Disney World trip if we could go to Disneyland?
Yeah, because we had that planned for this year. We were supposed to be there in July. So I would do that. Yeah, anything Disney. 2 more times.
2 more times after January.
Yes.
So my resolution, I'm going to go with Woody. I'm going to do something fun and I'm going to do something fitness. So I'll go with fitness. I'm hoping that Teets gets to run New York City this year because that's the year I deferred to. And if that's the case, I would like to do a sub 5:15 marathon, which is going to be hard to train for here in Louisiana because ain't no hills or bridges like there are in New York.
And it's hot.
And it's hot. It's real hot. But it was so funny. Whitty and Teets and I were kind of reminiscing about our rock and roll marathon weekend back in February, which feels like it wasn't even 2020. It felt like it was a year prior to that. And like Teets had a 5K PR that race.
You're
by
welcome.
quite a bit.
You're welcome.
By quite a bit. And it's just because, yeah. Well, just because the courses here are just so flat and straight.
Yeah.
I mean, you the only thing you have to worry about is potholes. And
which
that's a serious worry. You
I
almost died it
literally
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you were trying to book us DVC.
I was trying to book Marathon Weekend 2019 because it was my 11-month window for DVC, and the race started at 7. And if you're DVC, you know you have to book right at 7, or else you're not going to get your dates. So I'm like running and like putting in all the information at the same time, and nearly died in like a 4-foot like manhole.
I had to like grab you.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
I live to tell the story.
So I'm trying to figure out where the double audio is coming from, and I hope it's not me. Nope. What?
I think it is you.
You think it is me? No, because it has my...
Because Leslie's muted.
Test. No, it's not me.
I think it's Teetsy.
I think it's Teetsy.
It sounds like somebody hitting a keyboard is what it sounds like on my end. Like,
who knows?
Who? It's not me. Who's typing?
That's weird.
First I had it.
We'll
All
see.
right. We'll see. All right. I had other. So, any last minute January catch-ups we need to do?
No, I'm just trying to bump numbers for the Charlie's reservation and for something else. Oh, the Brown Derby at Hollywood Studios. That's all I have to do.
so I won't be there for lunch on Monday. So if that's in the number.
So what are your arrival days?
I get in Friday afternoon and then leave like early Monday afternoon.
Okay.
Oh, some
James
go
says
pack go for you, too.
No, y'all know. I'm sorry. We need the Packers to lose. We need the Seahawks to win, and we need the Saints to win. And I got to be honest, I don't see that for us because we have no running backs. Our entire running back room has COVID. Also, this is Reese's last game, regular season game, because apparently he's for sure retiring. Today, my football life ends. I'm so sad. So sad. So, Teets, you've pulled the suitcase out. Have you started packing?
The only thing that's in there so far is a swimsuit.
Oh, bandwagon. Sorry.
Oh.
Save your tears for the pillow. Don't you dare cry.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
As our good friend Abby Lee Miller. Save your tears for the pillow.
Or like a corner where no one can see me. I'm not going to respond to that because I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not a bandwagon Saints fan. But thank you for that opinion.
Moving on.
Moving on. So yeah,
So
what
Teeth
else?
is gonna have to buy swim trunks.
No, because he had to buy them this year. Well, and then I shamed him because he said he told Mama Teets to remind him to pack a swimsuit.
Did you after you wore them?
What?
You exchanged them after you wore them?
No, he packed them.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen. He went and wandered around the boardwalk and came back to the Quiet Pool at Beach Club with the swimsuit. Y'all were there. You were just sleeping, and Woody and I were like, "What is going on?" So, can y'all hear that outside my door?
Yeah, your cat.
Yes. And by cat, it's a very small dog. That's terrible.
Like a baby.
He's like, it does sound like a baby.
It does sound like a baby on this end. It's like, yeah.
Okay, so the baby crying is me. The typing is not.
We need to figure that out.
I know.
Nobody's typing.
Do you want me to leave and come back?
Why do we think it's you?
I'm muting everyone, so it's not me. Teets, talk.
Hello?
Tell a story. Tell a story, Teets. Act like you want to be a part of this just chatting show.
I'm not good at impromptu stories.
Tell us about your first Disney race.
Oh, well, that was a 10K in 2015, and I only stopped for one character because I was worried about it. I didn't know if I'd finish, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I was there and we didn't even know each other. How about them apples? That was my
I
first
was
race.
there and he hid from me.
No, not in 2015.
That was
That was-
16.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't do.
Marathon, your first one was 2016.
Yeah, because my first race weekend was Disneyland and Wine and Dine 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Leslie.
I think Leslie needs headphones.
She does need headphones.
So Leslie, did you not bring headphones at all?
You don't
What
have an
iPhone
extra,
do you-
like pair of these hanging around?
Well, Leslie just got an iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it just for like iPhone can only use iPhone?
Here, you want to borrow mine?
plugin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some around here too.
I got another pair right here too. And another pair.
Does it have the goofy like Apple plugin? Is that what it is for the headphones?
Yep.
What iPhone do you have? The 11?
11.
So it's going to be a Thunderport one.
Yeah, you got to have the little converter dealio.
All right. So for right now, I'm going to mute Leslie, and when you're ready to talk, just raise your hand.
The poor mermaid, she's finally here. We're just going to put her on mute.
She's finally here, and we're just going to mute her the entire time. Oh, no. It's Angela. I just heard that.
What? Heard what? I don't think there's anything going on. I get reverb every time you're talking, Keels. Like the little staticky thing that just happened.
I don't hear anything right now.
Yeah, I don't hear anything right now. It all sounds normal. There's no feedback.
What about
There's
me?
No,
You
you're
sound-
good.
Once you start talking sometimes, I think it kicks in.
But I think it's from someone else's like device.
Anyway,
Who knows?
All good. All good.
I love you, Leslie.
She's my favorite mermaid.
She is my favorite mermaid.
I got this sweet new mermaid statue for my bathroom. It's like, oh, you would love it.
I would love that. See, because you're making noise. Angela's making noise. Is it because we're in the same house?
Because you didn't bring your headphones.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
We'll get through it.
Okay,
We still
we'll
love
get through
you.
it.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at my notes. More catch-up talk. Anything else we have to talk about? Oh, you know, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for us, as now we're all together, the Crescent Lake Club, to kind of talk about what brought us all together and form this club in the first place. And it's a perfect time to talk about it because it's Run Disney Week. And I kind of want to start with that. So I've known, goodness, Tweedle1, Teets, and Witty. I'm going to have to split some hard hairs on this one. I think it goes Witty, Teets, Tweedle1 in order of how I met people. Because I met Witty in 2015 when I also met Teets on the disc boards, but Witty and I met in person at the Disneyland Half Marathon in 2015. Teets and I met Marathon Weekend 2016. I knew Angela's brother for a while, and he kept us apart because he said that the two of us, well, he used to tell me that she hated me because I was basic. Just could not stand me. And I'm not quite sure what he told her I was saying about her, but my first dopey weekend that Beth came out and ran the marathon with me, Angela's brother and sister-in-law came out for the weekend and saw me run the marathon as well. And then I think I came back in town after that, and that's when Angela and I became friends because we finally just said there's something fish, like we're both in the same place at the same time all of the time. It's back when you had the Buick.
The silver bullet.
Brick.
Best car ever. Yeah, so my brother was like, "Oh, she's a bitch. You'll hate her. Like, don't even bother talking to her." Like,
It's almost like he wanted to keep each of you for himself.
No. What he said very specifically, because he walked in the day that she and I met, like literally an hour after Keely and I, like, okay, so started talking, and then we're like, no, like we're awesome together. We totally have to be friends. My brother walked in, and the look on his face was like his face just dropped, and he just like his shoulders like slumped, and he like walked past us, and we're like, why did you never introduce us before? And he looked at us and without hesitating said, the world will not withstand the evilness that the two of you together will bring. We were like best friends forever.
But yeah, because it was finally, I feel like I was at a point where I was like, yeah, fine. I'm basic. I embrace a lot of it, but I'm also a really fun person. So I need to at least talk to this bee before I let her just hate me. Like, she needs to know me to
Before she
hate
could
me outright.
really hate you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I walk up and I'm like, hi. And she's like, what? I was like, well, I just wanted to introduce myself. I always see you here, and you're related to Adam, and I'm friends with him. And I just figured I could say, hey, because we're always here at the same time. There's no sense that we're the only two people in this pub sitting at the bar on opposite ends at 1:30 in the afternoon. So maybe we could sit together and talk most weekdays. So maybe we could like just chat. And Angela's like, yeah, fine. What you got?
I'm like, okay, fine. You can sit in the next bar stool. That's okay. And then within like 10 minutes, we're like, oh my God, what's up with my brother? He's the worst person ever. Why would he keep us apart? So
Exactly.
it was good times. So yeah, pretty much right after that, I went to the fancy Six Flags. So, I mean, life has never been the same.
Yeah, because was your first trip? Your first trip was Marathon Weekend, and then you came back in the summer, and that's when you became an annual pass holder.
That's right. We figured this out. 2018 was my first visit. 2017.
17, yeah.
17.
Yeah, because y'all did Marathon 2017. Leslie's first marathon was 2018, right? Yeah, so Angela had one marathon weekend under her belt.
Yeah,
before Leslie showed up. Yes. Which we all absolutely loved.
I mean, that night at Abracadabra was lots of fun.
Yeah, it was. Angela muted herself and forgot she muted herself.
No, I muted myself because Leslie's unmuted, so I was trying to help. But yes, Abracadabra was amazing.
The best was I made everyone get those Tito's and cotton candy drinks.
I'm pretty sure Loie drank everybody's.
Yeah, she sure did, because that was right up her alley.
Oh, God, yes.
And then, so Leslie, your first race weekend was
2018.
So you've only done 2 race weekends, 2 marathon weekends?
Yes.
2018 and 2019.
But like even my first trip back, I was an annual pass holder before I even went to Disney.
I know. So everyone lives at my mom's house in Florida.
So wait, no, it was 2017 Wine and Dine weekend, right? And that
was Leslie's first trip. Was 27.
Yeah.
That was first race weekend. Was 2017 Wine and Dine. 2018 marathon weekend.
Yeah, because we did. That was when we did Yacht Club level.
Club level for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that cute cake.
Oh my God, it was so cute. The best.
Yeah. That's when, oh my gosh, that's my favorite set of, well, this is going to come up when we have all of our Run Disney guests. That Wine and Dine weekend, those medals were universally panned, and they are my favorite collective set of Run Disney medals that I have.
Well, they're the only ones that are actually like.
It's a cohesive set. It's a theme.
Right.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The only other one that I think is as good is Disneyland Half 2015, because you have the 5K we did that has like Maleficent and a shadow in the background, and then you have the magic mirror, but the diamond medal was kind of off.
Yeah.
But no, 2017 Wine and Dine was the best.
For sure.
Was that the one with the dopey medal with the eyes, the jeweled eyes, and everybody's eyes kept popping out?
That was 2018.
That's marathon weekend. That's Teets' favorite.
That was super funny. Like everybody's dopey eyes just started dropping, and you saw like these one-eyed dopies until people could get back to turning their medals. It was real cute.
I'm gonna start making Woody take the medals off the wall and bring them and hold them up.
Oh my God, it would take forever.
I'm super intimidated by Witty's medals.
I can walk you over to them. That's about as much as it's going to happen. It took me legit, like, because I just rehung those like 2 months ago. It took me like 4 hours to hang them like that.
Mm. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm going to go pull down some of my favorite medals and I can have them here to show off. And then I was like, oh, they're all in Texas. The only one I have is Wine and Dine from 2019.
Ugh,
that apple pie flipper.
I hate that medal a lot.
It's not my favorite.
Oh, and what's that cute little mini one? The red and white polka dot? That one was real cute too.
That was 2018.
Yep.
That was 2018 marathon weekend.
Yeah, that was just a great year for medals.
That's when Loie drank your beer, Keely.
That's right, because we were waiting for him. We were so worried.
I thought she was dead.
We were super concerned. All right, so our first guest has popped into the green room, and I'm just going to kind of wait and see if she gives me a thumbs up and is ready for us to let her in. And I'll let Beth kind of introduce her first, and then she can introduce herself to everyone else. So, Woody, take it away.
All right, guys. So I want to welcome to the show my good friend Meredith. She lives here in Oxford. We actually both work in the same place. We won't really talk about that. But we actually met through going to spin classes at the Y, and then we found mutual love of Disney and racing, and we've just become really great friends over the past year or so. So welcome, Meredith.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yay.
I've been watching. I didn't know I could watch and be in the green room. So,
Meredith, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, so like Beth said, I live here in Oxford. We both work for the University of Mississippi. So I came here for college and never left, but met Beth at spin class, and I had this kind of this dream of going to Disney and doing just one race. I just wanted to run just one, and just asked Beth about it, and that was the start of a beautiful friendship. So, and then all these race weekends later, now I know so many other people in this little world. So, yeah.
We lost our host. So, the rest of the folks in the group, Meredith, just to kind of give you an idea. So TC up there, you know, a little bit from social media, and he's in Wisconsin. And then Tweedle 1 and 2, Angela and Leslie are in Fort Worth, and there are greatest Run Disney spectators. But they have, we'll talk about this later, but they have participated in one Run Disney event. And so
There you go.
we'll talk about that probably in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, I was having to deal with a dog issue. So, Meredith, what was your first Run Disney race?
It was Princess Weekend 2019. So,
Okay.
Relatively new compared to all of you guys to this little world. But so I did Princess Weekend. That was my very first Run Disney weekend. And I had actually broken my foot in 5 places. Yeah, like 6 weeks before. It was great. Would not recommend.
No.
But had a lot of fun, and then had to actually go down to Disney for work the weekend of Star Wars in 2019, and I just walked up at the expo and said, "Is there any chance I could get a bid for like the 10K? Just see." And sure enough, they let me buy a bid for the 10K. So that'll probably never happen again. And then I did Wine and Dine, and then Princess again this year, right before this madness happened.
So you had big plans to do Dopey 2021, is that correct?
Yes, so should be loading up now, actually. So our family had actually planned to go to Disneyland, and so I was planning to do Disneyland and then fly straight from Anaheim to Orlando for Dopey, but
here we are.
instead, I'm going back to work tomorrow.
So what made you decide to go Dopey?
Well, I really like costumes, to be honest. And also I can't just like do just one, right? So I have FOMO just worse than anybody. So I can't stand to, I remembered when I did Star Wars and being like, oh, I hate all of these people that get to run tomorrow. So, and I've never really understood the Goofy Challenge, because I know that a lot of people do like it, but I mean, at that point, you might as well run a 5K to 10K. So, you know,
what's
we'll
9.3 more miles
again?
Yeah.
If we get to do it in 2022.
So yeah, so raise your hands if you've done a Dopey. Raise your hands if you spectated a Dopey.
Wait, what was
What?
that?
Raise your hands if you've spectated a Dopey. Leslie.
That's
hand
you,
up.
Leslie. That's you. Yeah, good job.
So all of us that have done Dopey, I'll start with Ryan first. Well, actually, Woody is the one that did Dopey the first out of all of us. So Woody, what was your thinking behind running Dopey? What powered you to that decision?
I'll just like rewind a little bit and talk about why I wanted to run at Disney to begin with. So I started running in 2011. That was my first half marathon in Memphis, the St. Jude. And I learned, I guess maybe it was like at the expo, there was something there about running at Disney. And I was like, how cool would that be to run at Disney World? And I was like, if I ever run a marathon, I'm going to do it at Disney World. Like, why would I do it anywhere else? Like, that just sounds cool. Also, 26 miles doesn't sound fun, but if you add Disney, maybe it could be fun. So fast forward to 2014, I had to go to my husband had a conference in Orlando, and there was this princess race weekend. I was like, oh, we have to do that. So that was my first race. We ran the half marathon together at Princess in 2014. And then we got, they give you that little card that's like upcoming race weekends. And I'm like sitting in the back of the car and I was like, oh, Ryan, my husband's name is Ryan. I was like, Ryan, look at these. I was like, we could do this thing where we get 6 medals and you run a marathon at the end. I was like, we're going to do that. And he thought I was absolutely nuts. I could somehow convinced him. He did it that one time. But I think it was just like, I don't know, like the whole idea of like earning lots of medals and doing this like cool thing that like very few people at the time had done because it was still so new. And I was just like, you know what, if I can run a marathon, surely I can run all those other races before then, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's how they get you. So it's like my first Run Disney weekend was Disneyland Half in 2015. And my New Year's resolution on New Year's Day, or the changing over from 2014 to 2015, was I was bound and determined I was running a half marathon and it was going to be at Disneyland because I loved Disneyland. I was super obsessed with it. I just like made my first trip and all I had was Disneyland on the brain. This is back when registration was like 10 months out. So what did we registered for Disneyland half like in February or March, right?
Yeah, I think it was February because I remember being at a work conference in Dallas and registering like in the car and being so nervous I wasn't going to get in.
So I registered, and then by then I'd already set my sights on something else. So I thought Disneyland half was going to be my first half marathon, but I ended up running my first half marathon as a local one in March, and then I ran another one in April, and I ran another one in May, and then it came time for like marathon weekend. And I'm like, because then I was like, well, I'll just do marathon. I'm like, but if I'm doing a half marathon a month, there's no reason why I can't do Dopey. And so I signed up for Dopey, and then we saw the medals for Disneyland half, and this is where Whitty and I like had our meet cute. I'm like, I got into the 5K. Here, he's got 1 bib left. Do you want a 5K bib? And she's like, yes.
Because when that medal came out, I was like, I have to have it.
So cute. We had to have it. And then I was so mad at myself that I wasn't like, I got there and I did the 5K and I was super ready for the half. I'm like, why am I not doing the challenge? And it was like, at that point, I knew I was ready for Dopey, at least for like the back-to-back days. Probably not for the miles just yet, but I knew that I was ready, which is weird because 2016 was the year I ran all the races, right? Or was that 2017?
I think 16 because we did Tinkerbell in 16.
Yeah. So 2016, I did my first Dopey. I did my first all 3 races at Princess. I did my first and only Tinkerbell all 3 races. And then we did all 3 at Disney half that year. Did not do wine and dine. I would not recommend that.
2015 was my big year. So I did Dopey, I did Glass Slipper, we did Tinkerbell. I think I skipped. I didn't do Disneyland that year.
You didn't do Tinkerbell in 2015.
Oh yeah, that's right.
2015 you did Dopey, Disneyland, Wine and Dine.
Yeah, 2015 I did all the WDW races.
Because in 2016 you did Marathon, but you didn't do Princess. And we tried. You were just going to wander through the pink coast to coast.
Y'all, I wanted that pink coast to coast so hard. I was trying to go up to like a dude and be like, "Wouldn't you rather have this blue one than the pink one?" But I just couldn't like muster up the courage.
No, she was like, and she's like, well, first she went to go just wander through the pink coast to coast line, and they wouldn't. She tried to pull a Loie on that one.
Loie would have gotten it done. She would have gotten it done.
She would have. So yeah, that was my first Dopey. I've done 16, 17, 18. Did not run at all in 19. Right? Yeah. No, did not run in 20.
20.
So I've done 4 Dopies. Right? I don't have my medals on the wall. Or did I do 3 Dopies and a Goofy?
I thought you did a Goofy in 19.
Yeah, I probably did Goofy in 19. Okay, we'll go with that. Oh, I did Goofy in the stupid ass 5K in 19.
Yep, because
I might as well have just done Dopey. Especially because so what you don't know is when you stay at Beach Club Villas or Boardwalk or Swalfin is you can hear Carissa at 3:30 in the morning in your hotel room. I'm not used to hearing that because I'm usually like getting ready and out the door or like trying to find socks or pretending I have to throw up or something.
Or Red Bull.
I only recently started drinking the Red Bull before a race.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was, you can still hear. So when I spectated this year at BCV, and you can still hear Carissa, and it's like, I feel so bad for everyone not staying at a race weekend that has to listen to that at 4 a.m.
All right, Meredith. So what is your take? Because this crew has kind of some Carissa beef.
Y'all don't like her? I love Carissa.
That's what I thought.
She's a lot, but I'm a lot. So I think that's why I like her.
I've watched her literally melt down, cut in front of a line of 50 people at Swalfin.
Oh, I believe it.
And bitch just constantly. And then he called her by something. She's like, my name is Mrs. Galloway.
Oh, her kids are really cute. But I will say I like John Pelkey more.
That's Titi's favorite.
Yep. So that brings up a good question. Let's talk about your pre-race on the Jumbotron. What was that costume and what race weekend?
So this was Princess 2020, the 10K. So I prefer to do costumes that align with the theme just because I like to match, but it doesn't always work out. But it was Pocahontas, and I originally was going to go as the Weeping Willow, but that was going to be a little too difficult to run with leaves, and mostly to travel with leaves was what I was concerned with. So I went as Governor Ratcliffe and took Percy the dog. So probably one of them.
I'm looking on your Insta right now so I can share the picture.
Yes, I think it's like it's pretty far back on my Insta, but
nope, found it.
Weren't you even on like one of the Run Disney photos on Insta?
Oh yeah. So Run Disney like put me on their Facebook page, and but it was the most fun. But people were stopping me, which is I don't like that because I don't really like that kind of attention. But multiple people had asked if they could take a picture with me. But I was very happy with how that costume turned out. I would not recommend carrying a stuffed animal for that long. But you do it for the gram. So
there you are. How cute are you?
So adorable.
So that hat was probably that was the hardest part of that whole weekend was.
But didn't they like talk to you before the race started?
Yeah, he pointed to me across the corral, and he was like on the far right, and I was like really close to the left. And he like pointed at me, and like that's probably my favorite costume I've ever done. But he pointed at me and was like, come here. And, like, the Red Sea parted, and I like had to go over, and then he stopped me at the end. He like announced my name, and it was really cool experience.
So the next thing I want to ask about costume wise, tell us about your hat for Wine and Dine weekend, or should I say hats?
Yes. Hat. So I love the Three Caballeros. Love them. They're so much fun. My favorite ride at Disney World is the Fiesta Tour. And so I did Fiesta Donald Duck. So when he is being a tourist going through Mexico. And so he wears like a lot of stacked sombreros. And so I had to figure out how I was going to do that. So Sew those together. You can't hot glue those because it will melt. But kind of collected different sizes of sombreros for a couple months in advance. Luckily, I have a job that I travel a lot, so I have visited every party city in the southeastern United States to acquire said sombreros. But the problem was, the original plan was my friend Kelsey used to live down there, and so the plan was I was going to ship the sombreros to Kelsey, and then I would have gotten her to just bring them to the resort. And I went to take them to the postal service, and it was going to cost like $85 to mail these sombreros because the box size was so big, but it didn't weigh much. So like it was throwing it off. So I was like, nope, not doing it. I'll just carry them on the plane. But then it became an issue of like, this was going to take up too much room in my luggage and they were going to get smushed. And I had already like worked so hard on sewing them together. And so I just wore them through the Memphis airport. Just because you can wear a hat through airports. So I called TSA to like make sure. It was so much fun though. And it was I will say though, if you knew who it was, you knew who it was. But if you didn't, some people were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Mexico Donald Duck, duh." So, but
The
it was
best
definitely a
version
fun
of
costume.
Donald.
Like I'm like Party Donald, obviously. So, but it was very fun. So, Wine and Dine that year was a lot of good costumes.
And we have more guests in here ready, so I'm going to introduce you guys. If they'll just give me a thumbs up whenever they're ready, I'll let them in. Yes. All right. So we're super excited to have the members of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast join us. And they also did Wine and Dine last year, just like we were talking about right now. So I'm going to invite them in and let them introduce themselves. Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you? Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. So yeah, we were just going through Meredith's pictures. She dressed up as Mexico Donald for Wine and Dine, this past Wine and Dine. Remember when we actually had races?
Oh, yeah, I remember back in the day.
Which I know Ryan or Teets and Whitty also did 3 Caballeros for Wine and Dine weekend.
So appropriate too.
And in going through your pictures, y'all were at Wine and Dine weekend too.
Yes.
Wine and Dine is really where we got our start doing running and of course and eating and drinking afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's the whole that's a reason for it.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is the purpose. But we did it. We did Wine and Dine the first time when it was a nighttime race, and when the one and only year they did a relay. Do y'all remember that?
No, we just missed out on that one.
Oh yeah,
because Whitty and I did Wine and Dine the last year. It was a night race. It was the half of the half of a half.
Half of the half. Yeah, that was exciting. That was the year that I earned Coast to Coast, and I earned it with that one because that was the only Disney Orlando race. Yeah, that we did. Yeah,
That was you too, Gills, because you got your.
Yeah, it was my first. That was my first Coast to Coast because I did Disneyland half.
Yeah,
and then I did half to half, and then when I knew I could do Dopey was Whitty and I did the Jingle Jungle 5K that morning, and then ran the half at night.
Oh my. Okay. I don't know. We would have to have. Well, I don't know.
I was really lucky. It was just a half of a half at that point.
Yeah,
because it also felt like you were swimming instead of running because it was so humid.
Do you remember when they put us in those buildings at the ESPN and it got later and later and later, and we were like, "Is this really going to happen?"
I did not think for a second that race was going to go off at all.
Yeah. All I know is at one point, my husband, who was dressed as Deadpool,
that's awesome.
I have really, really worked on it, but he was wearing a cotton shirt, gloves, a wool face mask, leggings,
He was miserable.
He's
That's
like, the
gotta be-
kids totally loved me, but he was
Oh.
like sitting around, and next thing I know, he comes back and he just starts drinking beer.
Well,
And
that's
he
the way to
ran with
do
his.
it. That's the way
So
to
he
do
had
it.
he had 3 IPAs before the race finally started, and he ran with his orange Run Disney cup in his pocket.
Ooh.
And all I remember was I told him, when you finish, get a locker, change, and put your stuff in there. And in like the 30 minutes after he finished, I finished, and I went to go meet him to change. He'd already blown through our $50 in gift cards or whatever, because they gave you like a $25 one. It's like, I went to the craft beer stand. Also, there's no
There you
room
go.
in my locker because I was so sweaty. This bag is just, I'm like, because you wore all this dumb stuff.
Well, cotton.
You dressed like it was 20 outside, and it was 120.
Did you all see the guy that was the last nighttime race, the half of a half? That's where we saw somebody dressed as Groot.
Yeah, there was a guy.
Yeah.
He had done a full Groot costume, and he was either a very tall individual or he was wearing little stilts.
Oh, we don't
or
know.
Risers. He was
Can't run like that.
huge, and I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that.
No,
No way.
no.
It's bad enough. We've seen people over the years do like Captain Hook and the alligator or the crocodile.
Oh,
And I've seen the velour crocodile costume, and I'm like,
how do you do it?
that?
How do you do it? No.
So Tweedle 1 and Tweedle 2, Angela and Leslie, there are pro spectators.
I love the ears. I love the ears.
Right?
And spectators make it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
I tell you.
So they're like our Sherpas and our spectators, but they've definitely seen some fun people out on the course. So Angela, like, what's your favorite costume that you've seen?
I have to say, I love dudes who go as princesses. I think that's just the penultimate, not penultimate, that's second to the last. So I just think it's really cool. I think guys in tutus, like, I'm good with that. I do appreciate guys who get the bloody nipple situation under control. I really don't like to see that. So I will just throw that out there. You Band-Aid those up, or you cover them up. There have legit been some times where, like, you see the blood streaks first, and it's just like, why?
It was like when the half was canceled, the guy that was
When the half
running
was
around the
canceled, we
world
saw that
showcase,
guy.
Yes.
and he was just
That-
bleeding. I felt so
mean,
It's like, did he even know? I want to be like, did you even know?
Oh, you
Did you
know.
even know?
yeah.
And he's just like
Sorry.
smiling and happy as a clam. He's like, hey guys, get my 13 in. Wearing his yellow shirt because the canceled half was yellow that year.
Why
Yeah.
would you do that? Why?
So yeah, guys in tutus I love. Bloody nipple, guys with bloody nipples I don't love. And then, I think I
What
just
about
like
the barefoot Tarzan guy? He runs every year.
Barefoot?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple of
That's
times.
like Britney Spears in that Louisiana bathroom barefoot circa 1998. I mean, if you're going to go for it, go for it. Just do it. That's fine.
Why
I'm okay
you
with
gotta bring Louisiana into this?
I mean,
Oh,
ugh. And then I really do. I like any costumes that are a little, not like your standard costume. So I appreciate Meredith and her costumes. I'm not real sure how we haven't met yet. Maybe we haven't. I just don't remember. But kudos to you on both of your costumes because they're totally legit. I like stuff like that. Creativity. I like to see homemade costumes also with like the homemade aspects, not just like store-bought stuff. But yeah, that's what makes it worthwhile for me. And really, like, just the commitment. I'm never going to run like a lot for any good reason. If the apocalypse comes, I will just sit and take it like a champ because I'm not going to run. I'm not going to expend the energy. So I just appreciate seeing that many people dedicated to doing something healthy for themselves. So everyone that's out there has my respect.
Which it's so funny that you mentioned that because you have done one Disney 5K, and if I'm correct, you signed up for another one to actually do in person, but the pandy saved your ass from having to do that one.
It did. I mean, God works in mysterious ways sometimes, right? I mean, I've got this bad boy right here, guys. Do you see this?
Oh, Castaway K.
That's a real medal, guys. That's a real medal that I got. I actually went all 5 kilometers. I did
She
do
did.
this. I really did do this.
We're very proud of her.
Yeah, I would not recommend it.
It was real hot, like real hot.
Like humidity, and I didn't realize the course was on an old runway that was blacktopped. I mean, that's like, it's horrific. And the only little detour was through this overwhelming jungle.
Yeah, it was a jungle.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be like that. So,
Well,
I got my medal. I was going to try again for a real medal, but again, God was like, no, you're not. We'll postpone that. Get your money back. It'll be good. So I'm going to go with the flow on that one.
I have a picture, photo proof that Angela actually did run the race.
I'm real afraid of this picture because I don't remember that day a lot. I don't remember a lot of that day. I don't know. Yeah, I did it.
And Leslie too.
And Leslie did it too. So yeah, the funny
like
story.
The lost brother of the Duck Dynasty Bros. I'm literally the missing Robertson.
What I love about photos like this is that it's such a beautiful tropical backdrop, but what those photos don't convey is the heat and humidity.
oh
of
my
the sun.
Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have been better off just running in my swimsuit and like cover up. Because then we still went back. So the longer story is on our cruise, it was for my birthday. And somehow we ended up as magical family of the cruise, which meant they just brought all sorts of room service to your room into your stateroom at any given time. And they're like, you can have, the concierge level breakfast brought to you, but we need to know. And he's like, I gotta know what you want. And so like we filled out this thing for all these breakfast things, but we had to be back on the ship. We're like, we like to eat breakfast after we run. We'll have brunch. We'll pop a bottle and then get ready to go to the beach. It was so hot. I even told Whitty, I'm like, I don't want to go back to the room. Just no. Why didn't I just bring my original plan was to bring my little tote bag with my swimsuit in it and just change and then just stay out there.
Our poor little stateroom guy, I think we maybe ate like 2 bites of that food because we were so hot. We were like, we can't eat. Like,
and he was so proud of it. We had like 3 orders of French toast and eggs Benedict and all the hash browns and maybe 1 ginormous plate of bacon for Tweedle One because that's what she orders whenever we go out to eat brunch is just to start, give me some bacon.
But I ate that food. I ate 2 Mickey waffles. I ate my plate of bacon, and I tried to get some eggs down, but they were a little bit cold. So I tried for a 3rd Mickey waffle, but it wasn't happening. Like, guys, I'm a world-class athlete. I just finished a 5K, so I got to refuel.
Yeah. That's the marathon. The refueling is the marathon. And what I mean, that you ordered a bottle of champagne with this breakfast. Would that not be the impetus to come in from the hot weather?
Oh no, this was champagne that we brought with us because Disney Cruise Line lets you bring on 2 bottles per person in the stateroom.
Oh, we've never been on a Disney cruise.
Oh,
Get there.
Oh,
thank you.
After everyone has a vaccine, get there.
Yeah. So it was, oh my goodness. Whitty and I had probably between the 2 of us been on 24 cruises. It was my 4th Disney cruise. It was Whitty's 1st Disney cruise, but it was Angela and Leslie, Tweedle One and Tweedle Two's 1st cruise ever.
They thought we were going out on like a fishing boat.
And they're just, and I did my typical thing. Amy, Dana, see, or Meredith, everyone that's part of this chat has seen like my little emails. I joked around with them that they didn't get a race weekend. Everyone that travels with me for a race weekend usually gets like some massive planning missive. And So I sent one out this week. So for my birthday cruise back in 2018, I was like, we have assigned outfits. We're doing one night is nautical dresses. One night is the Lost Girls, like the Lost Boys, except we wear cocktail dresses and ears and tails. And then final on formal night, because we are meeting Captain Mickey. We're standing in line. I don't care how long it takes. We're wearing sequins. So Tweedledoo down here bought the most amazing sequin fishtail mermaid skirt. And all the little kids on the cruise line thought she was Ariel walking around in this. It was sequins. And at the bottom where the fishtail was, it was all like chiffon. It was amazing. But yeah, like
We got to get there.
it's
true.
it's worth it. I mean, I wouldn't do it every year. I don't know how people can afford to do it like the 19 times they do it a year.
I have some coworkers that are like that. They're if they're off, they're at Disney or they're on the cruise ships. One or the other.
Like I can understand the Disney thing, but like the Disney cruise line thing, because one, it's expensive.
Mhm.
Also, they don't do a drink package like most normal cruises, so it gets cost prohibitive for me. But Castaway Cay, that day we just walked out to the sandbar and all these like starfishes started making their way up to us, and we were just sitting out on the sandbar, and just it was the most perfectly sunny, not a cloud in the sky, most beautiful day ever. Somebody flipped out of a hammock. That was also really, really fun for us too. She also ended up being the last person on the boat, and we could see her from our balcony as she's like long legging it up the gangplank, and they're like shoving it in while the horn is blaring. Like
the horn was going off, and the driver of the golf cart was like, "We got to get you there. We got to get you there." I was like, "They are not gonna leave me, okay?"
well, they were fully ready
They will
to.
leave you. Yeah, he's like, "They will leave you, ma'am. They will really leave you, Senora. We have to go." And then he like basically Fast and Furious drives like the golf cart and like up to the gangplank and like drifts and spins into a 360, and he's like, "Get out, get out!" And I'm like,
And then you hear it, like, so we're on like the 8th deck or whatever, and we can see her, and we're all of us. It's me, Whitty, and Leslie just hollering, "Run, Angela, run!" And we just see her.
it didn't hit me until I started crossing the actual little bridge, and I could hear it being pulled up behind me, and I was like, "Oh shit, am I the last person on this boat?" And everyone's like, "Yes, you are literally the last person on the boat." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, it's probably the best place you could get left if you are left on a cruise. I mean, you're on Castaway.
Oh no, they were asking. Angela and Leslie were asking what they had to do to just live there.
We were trying to ask the lifeguard, like, "Do you live here, and can we live with you?"
Yeah.
What a great place to get stranded.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, right? But the best thing was Angela, like 5 minutes later, pops up to the room. "Hey guys, I wasn't the last person on the ship, right?" And we're like, "No, Angela, we saw you running, and the gangplank was coming in. You 100% were the last person on the ship."
So
That might
I
have been the least friendly that any Disney people have been to me. I mean, they were still nice, but they were like, "You were actually the last person. Hurry up and get on the boat."
I have never wanted to go on any kind of cruise. I'm terrified of I don't even like bridges. So thinking about getting on a boat is absolutely terrifying. But y'all are really making me want to go on a Disney cruise. And so I've already written it down on my list of things to do is look up speculations as to when I can do that.
Hey, go ahead and put it on your vision board.
Put it on your vision board. It's on all of ours for 2021, especially TT.
For the decade.
For the decade.
We were seriously eyeballing one of the Disney cruises. I think they had a Marvel Day at Sea.
Oh my God, that's what I want to go on.
None of you have done that?
That looked amazing.
No.
So I've just done the short 3 and 4 days out of Port Canaveral. So I'm hoping we're missing 2021, but Disney is putting a ship in New Orleans during Mardi Gras season now. So I'm hoping, and they're usually 5 to 7 days. So I'm hoping 2022 is going to be the one, and then it's going to be a Marvel cruise and not a Star Wars cruise.
Yeah.
We would love that. That was our favorite race in California, the superheroes Marvel weekend. Oh,
That's the one no one else here has done. Can you tell
Yeah,
us more about it?
that's the only domestic race I'm missing. Is
the
it's
only
Avengers
domestic
weekend.
race. I have the medals.
Yeah, you grabbed the medals.
Yeah.
We started
I can
going
show
out
you.
there.
Hang on.
Oh gosh, I think we did that one 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
3 years in a row,
Yeah.
and we've done races on the West Coast and the East Coast, and we actually, even though we live in close proximity to Orlando, we're about 3 hours from Orlando, so it's just a day trip up. We ended up really preferring all of the races out in Anaheim, and the Star Wars and the superheroes. And there was no superhero analog in Orlando. They don't do anything
Yeah.
themed that way.
What would be the bonus coast to coast medal for that? I wonder.
Well, I thought that it was so ingenious.
It could be like a Stark or a Shield or something like that.
It was ingenious for them to do light side on one coast, dark side on the other. That marketing wrote itself, and Disney was super smart to capitalize on that. They absolutely
Shield
could,
and Hydra, maybe.
well, they could do something similar. There actually was an Avengers comic and a West Coast Avengers comic, and
Are
it was
you
two,
kidding?
two different
Yeah.
teams of superheroes. They
He's
easily
geeking
could have
out
done
right now.
that, but they didn't. So we did Amy's got a bunch of the Marvels.
This is the Spider-Man 5K right here. It's legit.
The last time we went out, we
legit.
did
Love them.
all of the races. So we did the 5K.
To tempt you, Angela, to tempt you. There. Right there. To go a 5K.
Oh, no.
Do it.
She can do it. She knows she can.
Go Web, go.
She knows she can.
Wait, she's done another 5K though, because didn't you do the Cowtown 5K one time?
No,
She was supposed to do the 10K, and she didn't get out of bed, but she wore the shirt because it was purple.
Oh yeah, the purple Cowtown shirt.
I wasn't even registered for the 10K. I actually registered for the 5K, bought the 10K shirt because it was purple, slept in, didn't go because it was cold, and I wore that shirt until it got a stain on it. And I owned it. Like I'd actually run a 10K.
She wore it with her drinking. She wore it with her drinking around the world medal that year.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. This is Thor. This is the 10K. This is
And is it a spinner?
It's a spinner.
It's a spinner.
It's a spinner. So,
Teamwork makes the dream work.
thank
here.
you.
So-
There you
Ryan-
go. Oh.
Ryan Teets, how sad are you right now that you have not been to this weekend?
I didn't. Well, I'm sad that I just never got to Disneyland races at all.
Oh. Well,
Disneyland half. All right, can we all agree
we have a horrible
that Disneyland half is the premier race weekend because the theme changes every year, but still stays true to Disney.
classic.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
classic.
but
It is.
I love the.
probably the worst weather-wise though.
Oh my gosh, it's so hot.
September. Well,
Oh my gosh, the Pixar year, like I just made it into the parking lot when they red flagged the race. And I was like, oh, and you can see all of us go into a straight line in the shade and just start walking. Like I texted Woody and my husband, and I was like, can you please I'm in shade and I'm drinking water just to see when I start sweating. I'm not walking all the way back we stayed at the Fairfield on Harbor. Like just
sounds like Key West. That sounds like a Key West half for us.
oh my god! Like I had like 3 bags of ice on my head. It
Oh my
was just oppressively hot,
Hey,
and I'm in Louisiana.
I wouldn't have gotten
Well,
heat sickness if I had done what she did.
When it came to some of the worst Disney races for heat, actually the one that always snuck up on people was the Tower of Terror 10-miler.
Snuck up on me.
We never did that one.
That race, I've never seen more people go out on medical at any other Disney event than that one. Because everybody assumes it's a nighttime race, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Uh-huh.
They forget Disney's built on a swamp.
Right.
And at night, it just permeates the air. And actually, from race start to race finish, the temperature goes down, but the humidity goes up.
It's horrible.
And at the end, out there on the lawn near the Tower of Terror, you had
Oh.
people all being tended to by EMTs. It was crazy.
I was on the lawn, but I was not
Yeah, this one
cared
every year we
for by
ran
an
it,
EMT.
she would get bit by it too, and we're used to training in the heat, but
Yeah.
have heat sickness every year we do it.
And they're like trying to move everybody, but they won't move me because I can't get up off I couldn't get up off the lawn.
She was busy growing up in the bushes.
Oh, no.
And that's no alcohol. That's just purely
No.
heat exhaustion.
It was terrible.
That's insane.
It's terrible. This one though was successful. This is the Black Widow half for the last time they did the Avengers, the superhero halves the weekend in California. So it's
the last one they ever issued.
Black Widow's belt and all the symbols.
Sweet.
So, and then this was the Infinity Gauntlet for doing the whole weekend.
Oh, how
Infinity Stones.
I can see the jealousy in Teets' eyes right now.
I was just about to say, can we pay attention to how broken Ryan is right now?
They're like, well, they said they were going to do all 6 Infinity Stones, and then they stopped doing the races. So we only got Reality and Space, and I think the Mind Stone, and they didn't do the rest. So
Huh.
yeah,
You should,
so they
you
owe
should-
it 3.
They
I
do.
was gonna say you should email Run Disney and be like, where are my stones at?
Yeah, they owe us 3 more.
Well, I had every intention of getting some ink done to commemorate it
Yeah.
once we got all 6 stones,
Like
and that
this.
didn't happen. So it saved me from getting a
Oh.
tattoo.
Mm. So you think?
do you have any Run Disney inspired tattoos?
No, not as of yet.
Okay.
Not
We
as
were
of yet.
supposed. I was going to get, we were going to complete the whole set, and then they stopped having the races. And where I'm like, no, they owe us. I need 3 more medals before I can commit to that.
And
There you go.
I think that window is closed now that the MCU has finished the Infinity story. So it
Yeah.
may have to be something now with the next phase that they're starting with Fantastic Four, and now that Marvel's got all their toys back from the other companies.
Yeah.
Disney owns your childhood.
They do. They own 90% of my childhood. If they buy Mattel, they own 100% of it.
Mhm.
So since we're speaking like Run Disney tattoos, is anyone here plan to get a Run Disney inspired tattoo? No?
Yeah. As soon as I finish Dopey, I'll be getting one. So,
Ooh, when are you doing Dopey?
well, I should be there
Now.
tonight, but that's okay. I guess
Just hold off.
2022.
I'll do it with you in 2022. I've already done.
Okay. So I'm in graduate school, and this is like where it's kind of getting tricky. Is I will have to take a class next January, and Whitty can tell you those classes they're 2 weeks and it's pretty intense. But luckily, the professor that teaches that class, he's a runner, and he actually this semester he was asking me about Run Disney, and he thought that only famous people did it. Which he was like, "Oh my gosh, are you famous?" And I was like,
Keels, do you remember when I tried to find Andrea Barber at Tinkerbell Half?
And she was literally standing right next to you.
I never saw her.
Yeah, you guys were running. You guys were running right next to each other because I would get your timing nuts immediately.
Yeah. Anyway,
And then you
sorry.
passed, you guys were running at the same pace, and then at some point you passed her and you finished 10 minutes ahead of her. But she was like your 5K, your first 2 mats or first 3 mat crosses were right next to each other.
Never found her.
Running with famous people. Mm.
"Yeah, that's who you see though." But he definitely thought like only famous people did it, and I was like, "Nope, I'm just an average Joe that just pays a lot of money to go run around."
Yeah, that's basically it.
But I
That's
told
doesn't
him, I
count.
was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty devastated that it was right after Dopey had gotten canceled that we were having that conversation." And I was like, he was like, "Well, you'll do it next year, right?" And I was like, "Well, I gotta take your class." And so he was like, "We'll work something out. We'll see what we can figure out." So that's really nice of him. But it may be just a really quick trip, and I may have to just do Goofy, but I will definitely be there in 2023. So I want to be there for that. But I do have a question. So with all of the speculation around or talking about like race themes, What do y'all think they're going to do with Star Wars weekend?
Oh,
I have thoughts on this one.
Because I started thinking about it, and this was not on the agenda. I am so sorry, but I am very curious.
well, that's Or
Do
did
you want me to start? Because
Yeah, go.
Anybody.
I'm a giant Star Wars nerd. When they announced that this year was going virtual, that kind of broke our hearts. We were really hoping that was going to be our first chance to get back in the parks and do an official run. We've been doing guerrilla runs up at Disney and bringing some virtual races up to the properties and doing them on property and trying to get our fix as best we could. But this was going to be the real deal. I think that since they announced that was going virtual and that they were going to do a rebranding, you're going to see some of the races matching the Star Wars properties that they announced for Disney Plus. So
that makes perfect sense.
They announced a huge slate of items, including not only their TV shows, but also the Patty Jenkins directed movie Rogue Squadron. So I think they're going to want to build excitement towards those properties, and we're going to see some new medals, new artwork.
Just the Star Wars properties, or no?
For Star Wars weekend,
Yeah, and I also think we saw it because when was the Black Panther medal for the virtual run? Was that last year, or was that 2019?
Yeah, Marvel was 2019.
I think we're going to see another series of Marvel virtual runs because I think those are really popular, especially with all of the Marvel stuff they're putting out on Disney Plus, the WandaVision and then Black Widow coming out. And I'm hoping, hope against hope, Orange County is going to need to make some money somehow. That maybe in 2022 there's going to be a completely new administration in Orange County proper that can permit Disneyland to do races again. And with the opening of Marvel Campus and all of that is just exclusive to Disneyland, it would be great to bring back Avengers or a Marvel run. Because I think all of us have done Disneyland can agree that running at Disneyland is better than running at Walt Disney World.
With the inclusion of Angel Stadium, I love that.
Oh my gosh.
Some of our favorite memories. Yeah.
Yeah. The first year that Whitty and I ran together was 2015 Disneyland half. And you go through all the cars. And then, as baseball fans, it's kind of cool. But then you go out the tunnel and into the outfield and onto the stadium. And they call your name. And there's all these people just screaming for you as you run in from the outfield gate. Like a closer runs into the game, and it was just that's like a moment that I will never forget.
There to Angel Stadium, have they had it? Because we want to know where those spectators come from, how they get there.
So it's Boy Scouts, it's Brownies and Girl Scouts, it's youth groups and their family members that go out there. Yeah. And so I forced my husband into running Disney with me. And he said he would do Disneyland every year just because of running in Angel Stadium.
Oh, it's so fun. The high school bands they have out there. Oh my gosh, those are great. Yeah.
And you wouldn't think it, but when you do the Star Wars races out there, their 501st Legion that is in Orange County is enormous.
They're awesome.
They're a much larger presence than the 501st in Orlando, their chapter in Orlando. So the number of people that have these movie accurate costumes that are along the course, it's amazing how much money these people have invested in their costumes. And you think about all the charity work that the 501st does as well. It's incredible to see it, and them coming out to support you running is just a blast.
I think my favorite, other than Disneyland half, which I'm always going to love, but Whitty and I absolutely loved Tinkerbell Weekend. And it is for being a women's race weekend, it is so different compared to Princess Race Weekend.
How so?
We've never done Princess.
We have done Princess. We've done Tinkerbell.
Yeah, okay, so I'm on the opposite side of that. I've done Princess, but not Tinkerbell. And so I need to know all of what I've missed because I don't like Princess for the same reasons that Woody does not. So
Oh.
So I don't like Princess because it's a shit show.
It's just a hot mess of people who literally have never
They
run
think
a
they
marathon.
are a princess. Like, if you look at the YouTube videos of everyone that gets swept, it's just like, also the year I did Princess, both the 10K and the half, there were so many women just standing waiting to get on the parade bus at like mile 1.5.
Really?
Like they just
Yeah.
start just to get the medal. Like they
just do it for the gram for their costume, and they know they're going to get the medal once they get on the bus. I've never seen so much terrible behavior and so many women just talking about each other.
Yeah.
It's
I've
terrible.
never heard this.
This is all new to us.
Oh,
This is fascinating.
Princess Weekend is the worst. The worst. I love Tinkerbell Weekend because it's Mother's Day and it seemed really happy. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love running. I love the neighborhood that you run through for the half marathon.
And it could have just been that it was a Disneyland race too. And it's so much more like they sell less entries. So it's a smaller field. And that was, what was it? That was the first time I was ever in like Corral A. I felt like an elite. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
because you were in A, I was in B, which was really weird for me too. But it was just like,
I don't know. The weather was perfect, and it could just be like a one-off thing. Like we were just there for like the most perfect Tinkerbell weekend ever. It didn't hurt that like my all-time favorite band was playing in downtown Disney the night before.
oh my gosh,
5K.
back when House of Blues was at downtown Disney. Yes, we got drunk at House of Blues the night before seeing Eli Young Band. I was drinking Tall Boys and Miller Lite. She was drinking double Tito's and soda.
Ooh. This was the night before the race?
The 5K, yeah, before
Oh, the 5K. Okay.
But it was so cool. Like the 5K, like I will say, like not having corrals was a little bit crazy, but like you start in front of the castle, Tinkerbell comes out.
You start in the hub, and Tinkerbell flies over, and that's what starts the race.
We didn't do the 5K. We did the half.
We did the half. Yeah.
And we did it when it was in January.
This was Mother's Day
April,
weekend.
like first weekend in May. Yeah.
Yeah, first weekend in May.
Well, we thought the temperature was good in January, and we thought everybody was pretty nice.
Oh yeah, that was a great event and
Beautiful area you
even
run
for
through.
the guys running, not everybody, it wasn't the. You didn't feel like you had to have a tutu to fit in on the course.
Yeah.
I run in a kilt, so it's not a big stretch for me.
So Angela's probably seen you and cheered you on.
Oh yeah. I thought it was fantastic. It was the first leg of a coast to coast. So, and I had never done coast to coast before, and I was super nervous, and everybody was so encouraging, and they were, it was a fun group, really.
Yeah, I think it's just like the whole vibe around that weekend is different than Princess Weekend.
Yeah. It's also because when we ran, it was Mother's Day weekend. So you saw a lot of dads with the kids out and really great signs. And instead of going out towards the stadium like you do for half and Avengers, you spend most of your time like zigzagging through the neighborhood and houses, which is
that's the
light
too. Yeah.
Okay. So it's the same course. So you combine the best of both worlds, a Disney race with a residential race, like a local residential race where you have spectators out with signs or Jello shots or
the neighborhood
all those kind of fun things. Yeah. And that's the other reason why I love Disneyland races is because you get the community feel from all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I put some little slideshows together of pictures that people on this chat sent to me. I'm going to start with Teets and make Teets talk. So he can tell us a little bit about his Run Disney experience. So Teetsy's the youngest runner out of all of us. And before I play this, Teets, you want to tell us when your first Run Disney race was?
Yeah, my first Run Disney race was the Walt Disney World 10K in 2015. My cousin, like a distant cousin, she's like my second or third cousin, did Dopey the first couple of years, and I saw that like on social media and stuff, and was like, huh, I wonder, like, I want to do that. That's my first race
Look
right
at
there.
tiny baby Teensy.
I know. Look, TC.
And
How old were you, Ryan?
I was 15 or 16. That was
Jesus.
that was my. And then the following year I did the 5K and the half, right? And then because I wanted to do Dopey, but I wasn't old enough yet. Because you have to be 18 to run the marathon. So I couldn't do Dopey yet. So then I had to wait till
Can't fake an ID for that one, TC.
had to wait till 2017 to do Dopey, and then I've been Dopey ever since.
So here's
I
TC's
love that. You couldn't
slideshow.
even get a permission slip signed. Like, you couldn't have your mom sign a permission slip to let you
Oh,
run.
there's Sid.
That's Jordan.
Oh, that's Jordan. Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, that was the half, and that's my first full marathon. Yeah,
That's the Country Bears.
first Dopey. Dopey number 2. That's my favorite costume I've done, the Magic Band.
I told you to do that
That
one.
is awesome.
That was this year, or past year, 2020. But
Taking around the world.
Wine and Dine 2019, Wine and Dine 2018.
That looks hot.
It was very hot.
That's the velour we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So warm.
Materials matter.
Yeah.
So Teets, your favorite costume is the Magic Band costume.
Yep.
Who told you to do that one?
Well, there's a few people that told me to do that one, but
There goes all of your future gifts from Keels.
I know.
If you do not say
I know.
But yeah, that was fun.
So Teets enjoys. If you don't follow him, he's Ryan Runs Disney on Instagram. I asked for pictures. He has an entire Instagram. He's like running his entire photo stream behind him on the TV. I asked for pictures, and he sent me like 9. So, next up, we've heard Amy and Dana talk a bunch about running races, and their slideshow is so fun to me because they show how exciting it is to run and finish a Disney race.
I don't even know what Amy sent you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You're going to find out, buddy.
It's really cute.
Oh, yes, the UK. Well, that's a Tinkerbell. We didn't know we had food poisoning right then.
We found out later.
We found out later. That's
Also
us.
in the UK.
Also in the UK. So much fun. You know, you're towards the end. Oh, that was Coast to
Coast to Coast and Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
We costumed for that one.
I did Black Widow that lights up. Yeah,
Love it.
that
Oh,
one.
there's the gauntlet.
Finish line in the background right there.
That was me outside of Hollywood Studios when I knew I was safe.
You made it.
And some of the spectators with their costumes were just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually a Three Caballeros beer that we were having in that photo.
That was delicious. That
Nothing is better than a parking lot beer after a Disney race.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's worth the $14 a glass.
Well, I mean, we have if you go into our kitchen and you see, like, we have all of the.
We keep all the cups.
We keep all the cups, and we have
a lot of them.
I know we have too many. I know. But yeah, that's the way to finish. Parking lot and a beer.
I do remember that Three Caballeros beer. It was so good.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like a little salty. Oh, it was so good.
And after a run, especially.
Yeah, that's the way to finish. Yeah. So I think we had one at the expo and at the finish line for both the 10K and the half.
Yes.
Yeah, that line was worth it. That line was serious, no joke. But it was good.
So here's the last one, and she's got some other fun things in here that I want her to kind of talk about. Because Woody has done 2 world majors.
New York and Chicago.
And Ryan ran a ran a virtual marathon to qualify for New York City. So I want to kind of talk about that after we watch Woody's slideshow.
I think the best part was actually like going through and picking out photos and like reminiscing. So this was the one and
sending me
only,
like 35.
the one and only Star Wars weekend that we did. It was so hot, but totally worth it. It's really weird taking a photo with an inanimate object, by the way.
And the huge lines for standing next to said inanimate object.
Like Jabba here.
Tinkerbell!
This is Tinkerbell weekend. We had to go check out the finish line. Our 3 caballeros from Wine and Dine this past year. This was 2016 10K. I think that was part of Dopey 2018 right there. 2019 marathon, our group that ran together, crossing the finish line. 2016, I ran the Chicago Marathon. I don't want to talk about that medal though. Princess weekend. That was the one time I've done cheer squad and cheered on Keels in the half when she was running during her first Dopey. Finishing Dopey 2018. Castaway Key with Nikki. That's like my favorite photo. We found the Lost Boys on the race route at Tinkerbell. The only time I've cried at the end of a race, New York Marathon. That's probably my favorite Run Disney costume photo right there. And the dude in the photo is my husband. This is with my mom and one of my childhood friends that came and ran. Finished our first Dopey in 2018. This is when I was in Corral 8 and I felt like I was running by myself. There was no one there. And this is our first race, me and Keels at Disneyland. And her fave, Judy. And this was my very, very first Run Disney Princess weekend.
Oh,
It's our Christmas outfit.
Look, totally. See, spectators to the top. They were like, "What do you need? We'll have it for you. We'll be there. We're ready. What do you want?" Keel's first marathon. Y'all, I miss the lights, dream lights, so hard. This is when they would still let you stop and take pictures. So that was half of a half Wine and Dine.
Space Bear. Space Bear.
Oh, so many good memories. But yeah, so I think one of my favorite things about Run Disney is like how I've been able to include like so many different like people and get them motivated to do things. So like my mom, she just turned 70 this past year. And so she's done 1 5K at Disney and 2 10K. So she did Princess 10K and then she did the 10K at Marathon Weekend one time. And then my husband sometimes will run with us if I can bribe him with beer and Ohana afterwards. And then
for beer and Ohana.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I think that's just part of the fun, one of the fun things is like all these different people that you meet or you can include in the process and just show them like how much like being active can still be fun. And they're fun ways to do it. And Disney definitely makes it worth it.
So it's like, so the year I did my first Dopey, my mom did the 5K. My husband did the 5K and the 10K with me. And then Woody came in and did the marathon with me. And when I say with me, I mean, Woody actually ran the marathon with me. My husband and mom were just like, we're going to start where we're starting and just hope you don't pass us.
Well,
so, and then I always had like family and friends cheering me on. That's where Angela and Leslie come in because spectating and staying in a room with Disney runners has to be hard. Because we wake up, well, Teets, what time do you usually wake up on a race day? When your alert actually goes off?
2:30. Yeah. Usually.
Yeah.
He's a first bus kind of guy.
Oh my gosh. First bus.
What's the latest I can get on a bus?
Yeah, we're
have you ever asked John Pelkey to sign something at a Run Disney
No, I just always get my selfie with him. He knows me by name now, so.
Oh, you were so sad. What was it? We were running one race, and at the finish line, he wasn't
He wasn't
there.
there, and I was very upset.
I think that may be the angriest I've ever seen you.
I think the most excited we've been at a Run Disney finish line is when we've actually come to the finish line and Carissa has shouted out our podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we are Galloway runners, so we've been clients of Jeff's for e-coaching for years, and we maintain a relationship with Jeff outside of the Run Disney events, and we've gotten to know Jeff and Carissa and the whole family, from going to all these events, going to Jeff's race in Atlanta every year. So yeah, when she sees us, she'll shout us out and shout out the show. That's very nice.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's always really cool when you actually like make the shout out list.
Yeah.
At the end of a race. So when I was finishing New York, Carla Brunning does the announcing for New York City Marathon, and she does Run Disney races. And so she's like written a lot of blogs on it. Yeah, a lot of blogs and stuff. But I was wearing a sparkle athletic skirt in that race, the one that you actually gave me kills, the rainbow one. And I got
one that was in that. Y'all remember when Marathon Photo did Run Disney photos?
Yeah.
And so that's why Woody had the watermarked one that she just stole. That was our first race together. I was wearing that skirt because my costume was World of Color.
And so I got a whole
Woody to run New York City.
I got a whole like way to go sparkle skirt, like even just those little things, like she knew what it was. And and at the New York City Marathon where there's 50,000 people. So those like things are really special. And I think they know that. And that just makes the whole event like next level anytime they have that little extra.
So I kind of want Woody to talk just for a couple minutes about New York City Marathon, because this one, it's for most of us runners, casual runners, it's the most achieved. That in New York and Chicago ultimately are achievable. Boston, a little bit harder. So Woody ran Chicago in 2016, 2017.
Yeah. 16.
2016. But you ran New York City is like the dream race to run. And you ran that in 2018.
2018. So I've done 9 full marathons and 6 of those have been at Disney. So I don't have a lot of other marathons to compare it to. But if you had to say you get to run one last marathon of your life, and as much as I love Disney, I would pick New York City Marathon. It is just indescribable, the amount of energy and excitement behind this race. All the way from, taking a subway to get on a ferry, to get on a bus, to sit and wait for the race. And the whole thing, it's like every minute of it is just like being on the ferry and seeing the Statue of Liberty. And when you come off the 16th Street Bridge and it's just, there's nobody on the bridges and it's so quiet. And then there's just this roar of like thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
And that's roughly mile 13.
16. Yeah. And just the sheer number, like I think the communities that come out and just celebrate you, like it's a thing for them to spectate the New York City Marathon. And there's just no other feeling than that race. Like if anybody has any wants or desires to ever do a marathon, that would be the one. I'm like, if you can just do one, as much as I love Disney, I would tell you to do New York.
So I spectated Beth running the New York City Marathon. I took her on the ferry to Staten Island and then turned back around, came back. I saw you 3 times. I made all of my 3 stops. I saw you at mile 4, mile 16, and mile 22.
Yep.
16 is the most packed out, crazy place. It really is. Like, I'm used to it because Mardi Gras here in New Orleans, just how deep people are, but you find a spot and then you work with people and they ask, what's your runner's number? How many minutes are they away? We'll just rotate out because everyone is trying to hand off things to their runner at this point. So they've told them left side. Okay. And then I walk up. So my idea was, it was me, my husband, and Beth's husband. I bought us big balloons, like big Mylar balloons. So Beth knew when she saw the emoji cat with heart eyes, chances are that was me. When she saw a big Mylar taco, that was going to be Mr. Worldwide. When she saw a big Mylar stein of beer, that was going to be her husband. So she could kind of see it where we were standing far away because you just tie them to your backpack or your jacket or whatever you're wearing, and they just float up high and they can kind of see you through this stream of people what side you can always text left or right. But New York City is something else. It is.
It's like it's a whole thing. Like, so I would say if you can ever, and you want to do a marathon, run New York.
I'm so excited. And that's why I was so excited. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about what running a virtual marathon to qualify for New York City was like.
Well, I mean, I didn't, obviously 2020 was a year for that people often are going to want to forget about, but it gave me the opportunity to run a virtual marathon, which I didn't ever think I would do. And New York City put out 1,000 spots to run a virtual marathon, and you had and they went instantly. Some, like, RunDisney races used to go. So I had 5 different browsers open on like 3 different devices, and I was set to register for this thing. And so I got in, and then I was like, well, I guess now I have to actually run a marathon at where around my house or something. But so then I had, I obviously through training, I kind of worked out, my route and, my fueling and everything. Because I've never run that far at home before. Or,
what's your max distance, like training for Dopey around your house?
It's always been 20 miles. I've never gone over 20 miles. So obviously 6 more miles, but still, I think, the fueling and the, and with a marathon, I've only run Disney, but you don't have that. Like I love the crowds and the, the extra stuff that goes along with an in-person race. And with, virtual marathon, you don't have that. So it's kind of trying to find ways to make it more, exciting or more, so to keep me motivated to keep going. So I wouldn't, want to quit or something. Obviously, Whitty and Keels helped me out. They ran a little bit with me virtually. And
we did what, 2 miles? Just 1 mile?
I think it was 2 miles.
Yeah, I think 2 miles.
We did 2 miles. And then I stopped and got a margarita and my Mexican breakfast, and I went home.
Yep. And so, I mean, I'm still debating whether or not I actually count that as like an actual marathon, because I feel like I've never counted a virtual race before as like an actual race. Like I only count my in-person races, but this one was a little different. But so I'm still kind of at whether or not I actually count it or not. But I'm really excited to use that now and run in person in New York, hopefully in 2021, if not 2022 or 2023.
I'll just say I don't think the virtuals count, guys. I'll just throw that out there. You can't count them.
I think if it's a marathon and you have to do it to Strava and it equates to get you a registration, that counts. Yeah. Like you ran like what was your final time on your virtual?
4:28.
4:28. Yeah.
Beat me by 2 minutes.
God, she's going to fight you.
Now I have to run another marathon.
Come run New York City with us. I'll fundraise for you.
I keep telling Beth she's going to have to run Dopey when I run Dopey. She says she's not going to, but she gives into peer pressure pretty easily. So
Oh yeah, she for real does.
she'll definitely do it with me.
I think it's more FOMO than anything.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
I'll be there
too.
already. So I mean,
Yeah, so Teeth will be there. You know, I've had a break. I went goofy and then no running, and then there's no running this year. So 2022, I might be able to be talked into dope. Oh, I'll do dopey.
You got to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to need friends.
I'll do it. Yeah, but New York is so fun. So how do you compare that to Chicago?
So the one thing I liked about Chicago was it was just real kind of easy. Like I stayed at a hotel like right across the street from the start line. I just got up and walked over. Like it was the easiest like start of a race I've ever done. I mean, the spectators were great too. You run through Chinatown. There weren't a lot of like super memorable moments for me in that race. And maybe it was just because it was the first time I'd like run a marathon by myself. I didn't have anybody else there with me. The ones I had done previously, I either had my husband or a friend or someone with me. So it was the first time I was running 26.2 miles alone. So I think I was more intimidated. Well, yeah, things happen. But I mean, Chicago was fun. Don't get me wrong. I would run it again, but New York wins hands down.
Amy was supposed to do Chicago this year.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We attempted to do the marathon distance twice. So once he said he was going to spectate, and I'm sure he would need advice from Angela and from the spectating crew about what to do. He was going to spectate Chicago. He's like, "You have fun, go with it. I'm not going to do it." And then on our podcast in April, just by some social media magic, we got Art Smith on our show. And at the very end of his interview,
Oh my gosh, you know that's Teet's favorite human being.
yeah. So
The guy can cook.
Yep.
He's incredible, and he was so great. He spoke to us for like an hour, and he just let it all fly. And
There was some editing to keep
yeah.
our clean tag. Just,
but
I mean,
we don't. I mean, but
It happens.
at the end, he's like, "We'll do the marathon in 2021. We'll do the marathon, Walt Disney World Marathon weekend together, and then we'll party at homecoming together." And I was like, "Well, then that he has to do it." And so then he has it, and I have it on the recording that he would do it.
yeah, she has proof that I agreed to run the marathon. We trained for the marathon, the Disney marathon,
twice.
7 years ago, and we got up to like 25 miles in training.
Wow.
And then the week of the race, we got the flu.
Oh
this is-
bronchitis, dude.
It was bad. We were sick as dogs, and there was no
No way.
refund,
There was no way
no
we could do
deferral, no
that.
nothing. So that put a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, number one, I'm the sorest I've ever been from training, and number two, not getting a deferral or a refund. I was like, I'm done. That's it. Never doing a marathon again. Then Art Smith. I'm like, all right,
You can't
fine.
say no to him, right?
say no.
Teach, you can't say no, right?
Nope.
He says run it. You have to do it, right?
I mean,
It's
who's
all
going to do
fried
the
chicken and
marathon
biscuits.
anyway?
So now maybe we'll have to do, maybe not dopey in 2022. Maybe.
I
you
would.
know.
So Keely disagrees with me, but I would 100% say to do a marathon solo before going into dopey.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Oh, no.
controversy around that, right?
No. So my thinking when I did my first dopey was I want my first marathon to be Disney.
Mm.
But I think if you're a runner and you've done a half marathon and stuff before, no. You need to do a marathon outside of Disney. To do a marathon outside of Disney, to know how your body works and how you can stop and go. And it will actually give you a really good idea of what you're capable of doing for fun on the run, like riding Everest or having a booze in Animal Kingdom or all these other different things. Yeah. If I'd done it all over again, my first marathon as part of Dopey was perfect because I had Beth with me. I had my other friend with me.
That's another story. We convinced, so we did.
Oh my gosh! We're going to talk about Sawyer.
We did a Run Disney no-no, and so her friend Sawyer joined us, or she came and ran the half with Keely, and that was it. She was just signed up for the half, and this was in 2016. And we're sitting there after the half, eating brunch, and she was like, "I think I could do a marathon."
No, this was still in the parking lot. So Woody just spectated me in the half. I got her the cheer squad thing so she could do all of that. Sawyer and I ran the half. And then we're sitting in the parking lot having champagne and beers and stuff and like planning. We're like trying to tell Sawyer how to get from point to point because the two of us are doing the marathon. And she's like, well, if I have to be at all these places to see y'all, I might as well just do the marathon with y'all.
So we may or may not have purchased a black market bib.
They said they gave the bib to us for $50, but she couldn't have the shirt.
Yeah, they didn't want to give up the shirt for some reason. So
Cool.
I would say she bought, because I'm not getting kicked out of Run Disney. I did not.
Ran as Linda Fang.
And she did a marathon the next day. She had never trained.
No training, just go.
No training, just go.
I mean, she's a fairly fit, like athletic person. Like she worked out a lot and things like that. So
the best was only ladies will get this. At like mile 16, we were coming out at Animal Kingdom, and she's like, "I have to go to the med tent. I need just a second," because she was wearing leggings and all of that, and she was hanging. And she's like, "I have to go to the med tent. I just need a second. Y'all don't see this," and she pulled down her leggings and she was wearing a lace thong because those were the only panties she brought with her for like panties to like wear with a dress and so she thought she just ripped them off and she's like, I need all the Vaseline y'all can give me. And she's pants to the world. She ripped her underwear off, slathered everything up, pulled her leggings back up. And she's like, let's go. She's like, also, I'm a nurse, so you can give me 4 times the aspirin you just crossed my hand off to say that I can have.
Teach, you know what that's like, right? I mean, come on. We've been there.
Yeah.
True stories from the racing roads.
Wow. Wow.
And then afterwards, as we're like running, she's like, she was just pissed because she's like, those are expensive panties and they just ripped really easy.
You run a half marathon. Wouldn't you know what might work and what might not work for a long distance? I just don't.
I don't know.
We were even staying at your mom's house, so she could have like done her laundry from the half and worn it the next day. So it wasn't like she didn't have options.
Yeah.
There are options. I'm just saying there are options.
Yeah, we were at the house because my parents like went and brought pasta for her.
Anyway.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah. So Whitty, when you were talking about New York as a marathon, to run if you're ever going to experience, and then Keels was talking about you should run a marathon outside of Disney so you know kind of what you do and your flow and all your training and whatnot. We were thinking we would recommend, and we haven't even run it, if there was a marathon for anybody to do in Florida, the Donna Marathon weekend is
what's
weekend.
That one?
That's in Jacksonville Beach area. It's very flat.
Okay.
All by the beach areas, but all of the towns in the Jacksonville beach area adopt you. The Mayo Clinic is there, and it's all to raise money for the Donna Foundation and the breast cancer survivors, the families, and they support the people who are battling cancer. But you run with survivors, you run with people who are running in memoriam like us for Dana's mom. But every town decorates all the neighborhoods, and people will set up full breakfasts outside of their houses. They have pink and white balloons everywhere. They'll serve Jello shots, champagne, mimosas,
Bloody Marys, beer.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
convinced already.
It's a 26-mile street party.
The entire way.
When do I sign up?
So this February, it's usually February, and it was going to be on Valentine's Day weekend for 2021, but it's gone virtual this year. So it's usually in February, and usually sign-ups start in May. And they have a 5K, they have a half, they have a full, and they have an ultra. So you
don't talk about ultra with Whitty.
No. Well, okay. So they have the marathon, and you could sign up for the booby trap challenge, which could be fun, which is the 5K and the half, or the 5K and the full marathon. And then you get like little seashell aerial looking medal.
It's a cute medal.
Oh, we got someone's excited.
So Leslie
is super in.
Our mermaid.
So I'm saying that if we were talking about any race weekend to do outside of Disney or a first marathon experience, if your recommendation is to do it outside of Disney, then I think the Donna Marathon weekend in Jacksonville, February tends to be
cooler,
milder for the most part.
Lovely.
And it's flat. It's flat and it's a street party.
Because what was your first non-Disney marathon, Whitty?
So my very first marathon was the St. Jude Marathon in Memphis. So for St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Yeah. So she lives in Oxford, which is just a hot minute from Memphis.
Yeah. So that's one of our every year race weekends. We typically fundraise and go run. Our run club usually has a big like showing. But that was our first marathon, and we did it the month before our first Dopey. So, and I will say there are some like pros and cons to running a marathon before Dopey, because the cons would be, oh, wow, why would I ever do this after I've already done a 5K, a 10K, and a half? But I guess I've never gone through childbirth, but some people say, you don't really remember the bad parts. You just remember the good things about it. So maybe that's what happened. And I still ended up doing Dopey. But yeah, it was good.
Angela, do you want to unmute yourself for that one?
I'm just saying childbirth is terrible, and that's why I only have one child. I meant he was perfection. I knew as soon as he was born that that was the number, that was the ticket, that was the winner. Didn't need to go for a second one. It hurts like hell. It hurts, even when it's the fake giving birth, like the Braxton Hicks. That's some bullshit. I went to the hospital for that. And the nurses were like, oh, this is just like the warm up. And I'm like, the warm up? Then give me lithium now. I will start taking lithium now, and hopefully this kid is okay. No, I remember all the bad parts of labor, all of it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've never done it. So.
All right. So Teets, did you run a marathon before your first marathon?
Nope.
Your first marathon was Dopey, right?
Yep, 2017 with the canceled half. Yep.
And you still ate Ohana before that.
I did.
After advisement.
Yeah.
Never. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I did not run a marathon before my first Dopey. Thought about it.
That counts.
Yeah, but didn't.
I'm thinking maybe the ticket's going to be, so the plan this year was to do, of course, Dopey, but to do Route 66 in Oklahoma in November because it's a pretty flat course.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna train once. I'm not doing this multiple times. This will be a one and done thing.
Yeah, I said that too.
Yeah. I'm sure that I'll be like,
we've all said this.
I'll have to get the 6 medals again, but I really don't want to train for a marathon and then be like, well, I really want to do Dopey, so let me go on another training cycle. Because I mean, that would be kind of the con of doing a February marathon. Would be you've trained all that time, and then essentially you're either having to keep it up or you're having to start over. So
yeah,
I'm trying to think what my And maybe Beth can weigh in more because I was talking to her about it so much when it was going on. And the reason why I didn't do a marathon before mine was because I was already doing like halves and more than that every month. And I felt confident if I could just get up to 20 miles or 18, just even 18 miles and not be unhappy with it, I would be fine. And then I started with the, because I was following Hal Higdon's Dopey plan, which is like basically just can the half, just walk the half and make sure you can finish the half to save yourself for the full. And I think that's where my mindset on the challenge is.
Galloway's very similar to that. He's
Yeah.
very, very conservative until the full. That's
Yeah. Which, my next Dopey, I raced the 10K and I had the best time racing the 10K. The half is just the half and the full is just what you can make of it. So, am I glad that I'm glad my very first marathon was with my friends at Disney. I think I should have stuck with my plan of just doing marathon only that first weekend. I think I would have appreciated it more. I would have had a better time. I would have.
So there's been 2 weekends where I've run, and we always hate when people say this, only the marathon, because it's a marathon.
Only the marathon.
But there's been 2 Disney World weekends where I've that's the only race I've done, and it was canceled half year. I was supposed to do Goofy, and so then I ended up running with a girlfriend that I met through Keely, and helping her get her
first marathon,
her sub 5 PR, like first like goals she wanted with her marathon, and felt great afterwards. And then last year in 2020. Just had a blast. I ran with Teets and another crew of folks, and we just had the best time. Like, I wasn't tired from having run a bunch, so I was able to just kind of like go with the flow and enjoy.
You also finished in like what, 5:15?
Something like that.
Teets, what was your marathon time this year?
I think it was over 5:30.
Well, I don't know. We just had a blast. That's all I remember is we had fun. So
I remember following you, Beth, and there was this like really long lag between one timing Matt and another. And I thought,
it's because they stopped to drink with me and Jenna.
Yeah, so a couple of
well, then you rode rides.
Well, a couple of people in our group got on Tower of Terror, and we didn't know because we were ahead of them, or else we would have stopped and gotten on with them. And so then we ended up on the pathway between Hollywood Studios and Boardwalk with some folks that the rest of the crew knew who had beers and like Oreos. And so we were just hanging out, Jello shots. So we were hanging out, drinking and eating at like mile 24, waiting on the other 2 to get off Tower of Terror. So that's probably what happened.
Where are these Jello shots at the Disney race? Because I've been apparently missing out.
We need to know.
We have a good crew that keeps all this stuff for us.
Oh, so this is nutritional. This is nutrition being provided by your support staff.
The cheer squad.
Sherpas.
Yeah.
You're Sherpas.
Well, we need that. We never have a support crew.
No.
This is a problem.
Was it 2018 when I brought the king cake?
Sorry.
So I brought a king cake, and was it the well, Tweedle1, you can turn your mic on. Was it the half or the full that?
Don't get me started. I can't keep y'all's races. All I know is it's before the sun comes up, and we do what all good spectators do. We just, who are our runners? Who are we taking care of? What
was it the half or the full that you were handing out king cake?
I don't remember, but I was at TTC because I hid it in the bushes. So I had a plate of king cake that I carried all the way from Beach Club to TTC for the cutoff. And I was up on one of the planters, and I put the cake wrapped up under one of the bushes. And then Like as my runners were coming by, I was like, okay, who wants king cake? And not everybody wanted king cake from the bushes, but some runners did. And so it was there for them. The people that were sitting next to me at that planter had no, like, they just could not comprehend what was going on in my life. Like
Oh, it was 2019 because that's when we ran as Minnie Mouse cheerleaders. Because that was Jenna, right?
Yes, it was Jenna who, she was the first one that said it. It was like, where's that king cake at? I'm like, it's right here in the bushes. And she's like, get it out.
It's right here in the bush.
And then the people next to us were like, what are y'all doing? And I'm like, runners need to refuel. Have you not brought any food for your runners? And they're like, no. And I'm like, your runners will die. Your
You're
runners will
spectator
not make it to
shaming
the
them. I
finish
love
line.
it. Now, have any ever done the Expedition Everest 5K when that was offered?
I did it.
Oh, keep talking about these races we can't do.
Oh,
So I think all of like that one and Tower of Terror were done before we started doing Run Disney.
Like literally end of the year we started doing Run Disney.
okay. Because
So fun.
That's the closest one we've ever had, because during that race, we learned that margaritas look and smell an awful lot like lime Powerade.
Yeah, or Gatorade. Lime Gatorade is
That's why green Gatorade.
And
yes.
may or may not have found its way into someone's running belt.
Yes.
Ain't no shame in that game.
There is a race in Memphis. It's always Mardi Gras weekend. Not Mardi Gras weekend. Cinco de Mayo weekend. And they do, it's disgusting, but it's margarita flavored Gatorade at every stop. So you have to and eat a taco.
It's part of like the race. Like you have
it's part of the race. And it's super fun. But like, whew.
It's like a taco mile.
Yeah. If you want to vomit, okay.
That's like, what was it? I've seen like the Dunkin' Donuts or like something 5K.
Yeah,
the Krispy Kreme one. It's over in like Charlotte.
Yes.
Raleigh or Charlotte, I think.
I can't really eat during a race.
I can't eat. It takes me a while after a race to eat.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do the donuts mid-race. The closest thing to that we've done, there's it's a non-Disney race.
Yes,
it's
you do.
I have been known to stop in at a Krispy Kreme and get donuts to hand out on the course in Atlanta. I've done that, but I don't really eat a lot of them. The closest to that though is the Tampa Beer Run. There's a race that we do.
I've heard great things about that.
It is so much
awesome.
fun. Every 3/4 of a mile, you get a beer tasting.
Yeah, it's not a water stop; it's a beer tasting.
They have water, but every 3/4 of a mile, you get a beer tasting. It's a double loop park run. It's a blast, and then at the end, instead of getting a medal, you get a pint glass.
And you can fill it with beer.
Yeah,
local beer.
It's a huge party at the end of the race.
Fantastic!
It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a race that Keels and I could talk our husbands into, because they take the 10K at Rock and Roll New Orleans. So they've done this they did this 2 years in a row, and
we're already making plans for year 3. They were mad. So my husband came in next to dead last in his age group. Woody's husband still finished not even close, but they try and do a beer every mile and a burger at some point.
A burger, a whole burger?
And just one at some point, during the 10K.
They split it between the two of them at some point.
Oh.
But they literally go into like a pub or a bar, order a beer to go every mile.
Or sometimes sit down and have a beer.
That's where they went wrong the first year. They actually sat down and had a beer for like 10 minutes.
Well, no, they're now like, we have to revisit this because.
Oh.
So here's my last little stream. I don't think I did this slideshow.
I envy the people that can crawl.
Yeah, we did that one.
Margarita.
Did we do all of yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great photo.
If you've never done the peach tree in Atlanta, it's very similar.
I want to do peach tree.
It is so much fun. It's a 10K that it's on the 4th of July, so it is hot as that is what I imagine hell is probably like.
Yes,
but so much. It's 6.2 miles of, I mean, it's a party the entire way. My dad does not run at all, but I talked him into doing it with me last year, and we had the best time. And about halfway through, we were just smashed. So it was so much fun. Would definitely recommend.
Gotta do it. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do a run through it, everyone. Race you wish you can run this year and your dream race. It can be something you make up entirely. Angela, I'm gonna go with you first.
So I will say, depending on the medals, like I'm probably down to try at least a real 5K in the parks. I mean, Castaway K was a real 5K, but a legit one with a medal. And then, I mean, I don't have any, like, I mean, I barely want to do the 5K at Disney. So I definitely don't have like a dream race. A dream race would be like just spectating and eating bacon for 4.5 hours and then getting a medal at the end of it. That'd be a good race, I feel like. Sounds good. I'll go with that.
Fair. Okay, Titi.
So a race I would want to do this year, obviously, I think Dopey is the big one I'm missing out on this year. Because, I mean, at least that I had planned. New York isn't something I necessarily had planned for, but that would be great too if that happened this year. My dream race, I think, would just be any Disneyland race. Just to get over there to Disneyland and run there would be just amazing.
All right, Whitty, you're up.
So for this year, I'm gonna go and with Run Disney's not gonna happen in 2021. So I'm hopeful for St. Jude to happen this year. It's in December. I think that's far enough away, and hopefully, just because that's our local hometown race, we raise a lot of money for the hospital. So for this year, I would like that race to happen. And dream race, probably Boston. I know I'll never qualify. So one of these days I'm going to have to hit that like real hard fundraising. But definitely, okay. Either Boston and London really kind of, I've got my eye on that one too. But
Medoc. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Can somebody qualify for Mexico City? Have y'all seen Mexico City? That looks like an amazing race too. One of y'all.
I don't think you have to qualify for Mexico City.
Okay, then y'all need to run Mexico City. Let's go. Tostadas y tacos y burritos y gorditas, like 26 miles. I can eat 26 miles of all of that. I'm excited. Get it done.
All right, Meredith, what you thinking?
Of course, I had my sights set on Dopey. I'm hopeful about One and Done, but I don't think it'll happen. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed. And I think right now it's just focus on the smaller races because I think that they can keep the field smaller, things like that. But dream race, I wish Pixar at Disneyland. I hate that I never got to run that one. So that weekend. So I really want a Pixar race. So if the Bobs or whoever is out there listening, hope they'll make that happen.
Leslie, what are you picking?
I would pick a race where I could get a real aerial medal and I would run. I'm not saying for how long I would run, just not to get swept. And then I would like to spectate you guys just running again. That would just be awesome. So
I love you, Leslie.
Because it makes you guys happy. So, I mean, and it makes me happy to stand there and cheer you on. Because that's what we do best.
yes.
All right, so Amy, Dana, what you got?
Oh,
I'll let you go first.
God, you always do that.
Ladies first.
Well, I think. Well, I really wanted to run that marathon with Art Smith this year, but I think that the one I'm most brokenhearted about is the Donna Marathon weekend.
Yeah, that one is such an emotional roller coaster. for the whole 13.1 for us.
Yeah.
And just what an amazing community feel. Plus the food and drink scene in Jacksonville, Florida. You don't realize how good it is till you go there and start exploring.
It's actually super underrated. That's
really
the
is.
thing.
Incredible stuff. Yeah. So I'm torn between those two experiences, and I don't know, like a dream race. It would have to be something superhero or like Avengers theme, something.
If they'd bring him back.
If they would bring them back in Disneyland and bring back the big old party atmosphere and the Angel Stadium, and just, I would love that because I think the weather's always perfect out there. It's like a big party and the community is incredible and it's Disney, so how can you go wrong? So
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go off the Disney reservation and say there's a race in Scotland that's very much like that Tampa beer run that I was talking about.
Oh, there we go.
They do a Scotch tasting every mile and a half, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like
Something like that.
Medoc in Paris.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it would be, I mean, I would be a mess staggering across the finish line, but I'd get it done.
Yeah. And I hope, like somebody was saying that that December 2021 race may come back. We're hoping for the Jeff Galloway half marathon weekend in Atlanta to come back.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I think we're all hoping for race weekends to come back. Mine is going to be, I want to do New York with Ryan.
Oh, yay.
Very cool.
He's way faster than me, but I'm going to run New York with Ryan and try and hit a goal. But it's also to get Disney races back and run with all of you guys and see your costumes. I want to do a dopey with Meredith. I want to see Amy and Dana back out there. I want to see all of us.
We'll be bringing up the rear for y'all.
It's all right. I'm usually doing that too. So, and then you'll always have Angela and Lizzie, 1 and 2.
I want some of this king cake that they speak of.
Oh, it's
Can't have it
only
until. Oh
3
no,
days
you
till
can't have it
cake
until
season.
12. You can't have king cake until 12th night.
Okay. All right. Then we'll work it
I'll
out.
send you.
But I am your
Really,
girl.
I'm
Anyway.
not
I can draw one though.
to Disney.
Yeah, I can get you whatever you need on the race course, Amy. You just
Okay.
you give me your cell phone. If you text me, girl, I can just
We'll hit
tell me
you up
what
in the
mile
order,
you're
like a
at.
payment plan,
I will
you know.
bring it to you. I'm like the cartel of spectators when it comes to
Excellent.
Disney.
I love that.
I will also take out people on the course that are annoying you. Just let me know, like, who bumped you, who got too close, who got in front of you and slowed down. I know that's real annoying. I'll handle it. They'll get through.
Yeah,
You run your best
she's actually real great. She's real great at that.
Fantastic. I love it. Yes.
So with that, thank you everybody for watching. Thanks everyone, all of our guests, Meredith, Amy, Dana. Thank you so much for showing up. Leslie, I'll unmute you now. Bring headphones next time.
Okay.
Leslie, what are you looking most forward to in 2021?
Disney.
Mm.
That's it. That's all I got right now. 5
Small
days.
steps, one little thing at a time.
That's
one little
right.
thing at a time.
Just let me make it to Disney.
Yeah, we're 4 sleeps away. 4 sleeps, girl.
sleeps.
Oh, just so few sleeps.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Happy Sunday fun day. Get your miles in.
Thank you.
Thank you
everybody.
everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time.
So nice to meet y'all. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.